Okay, so as you can see, her inner lashes, there's good amount there if you really look closely, but it is hard for me to see and isolate those, and that's very, very common. So what I can do is, this is one way I can use tape in order to make my life easier as I'm working and to make sure I get all her lashes and she gets the nicest set ever. Right, so what I like to use for that is, actually I like to use the sensitive tape anytime I'm using tape to help me with her lashing. So let me grab that. Yeah, so I like to use the sensitive tape anytime I'm using it on the skin when I'm filling in the inner and outer corners, okay? Or if, let's say, she doesn't have eyelids like that, but let's say you have clients who have like extra skin or extra eyelid and they're kind of like covering the lashes and I can't see the root and the base of it in order to apply, I can also use the tape to lift up the eye and the eyelashes a little bit in order to see better. So I'm going to show you guys how to do that, and then I'll jump into the technique of just taping the inner and outer corners in order to see those or focus on that area. So here's the sensitive tape, and the sensitive tape is the blue tape. It's by 3M Next Care tape. So this is kind of what the packaging looks like, and that's what the tape looks like. Sorry. Okay, so this is the 1-inch one, but I like to always divide that in half and use only a quarter of it or a little bit of it. So I'm gonna go ahead and fold. This is too long actually. I need just about that much, which is like maybe 2.5 inches. I'm gonna fold over a tiny bit, give myself a little area to grab. Sorry, it's like hard to do this with the camera in my face, but I'm doing this for you guys. Okay, so I'm gonna just tape the very tip of the tape. Okay, so lightly. You see how light I'm touching? I'm not pressing down hard because I don't want tape to be stuck too hard on anybody's skin, because no matter what, it's uncomfortable to remove, even with these sensitive tape. But look, once I do that, I can gently lift that area. So when I lift that area, I'm going to be able to see those lashes much, much better than they were. And you'll see like a huge change on some clients. Some clients like hers will be just a little change to help me, because her lashes are already kind of easy to do compared to some clients. But this is a technique you would do for the inner corner. Okay, then another way I could use the tape, now I can even use that same tape for the same client, only for sanitary reasons. I can go ahead, once I'm done doing that and applying those lashes, I'm going to go ahead and use a little bit of the tape to lift the outer corner just like that, and then I could see all those hairs a lot better. Okay, again, the trick is to only tap the tip of the tape and then lift it, and then to give yourself a little latch here by folding over, so then you can peel it off easily and you're not just scraping the skin trying to peel it off. Okay, and then again, you can do it from the center if that's the area that's kind of together and you can see well. But the very important part of using this technique, or these techniques, to lift the eyelid, you want to make sure you never lift the eye open. Okay, so from this angle we cannot see, but if we kind of stand up, or here if I move the camera all the way around to kind of look underneath, this is where we can see if her eye is open or not. So even the slightest crack, that if her eyes open, that's gonna make the fumes of the glue make her teary or make her eyes red. So very, very important, or make her, yeah, watery. Very important. As I'm lifting, I'm kind of standing up and really making sure I'm not lifting this much and it's that much open, okay? Because from this angle, look how much open that is. But then if I'm sitting and I'm here in this angle, I don't see that. It doesn't look open. So this is a mistake that people make that I see all the time, right? So get up your butt and look over, make sure her eye is not open at all, to make your life easier and her life more comfortable. Okay, so that's that. So now let me show you how I would use the tape to just tape the inner corner or to just tape the outer corner. So for her, I'm gonna need to do that for the inner corner, okay? Because all these lashes, I do want to apply them on there, but it's so hard for me to see those clearly. I don't want to glue anything on her bottom lashes or to glue things together. So what I do for that is I kind of create my own little mini under eye patch. I do that by using 2 layers of the white tape and 1 layer of the clear tape. So I'm gonna just grab, and I like to use the 1-inch one for this. I'm gonna grab that and I'm gonna double layer it up. And then I'm gonna put 1 layer of the clear tape. And that, for that, again, I like to use the 1-inch clear tape. So there. Now I have my little homemade under eye patch. Now I can remove the whole, if I was done applying all the extensions everywhere else, I could remove her whole taping and under eye patch and then only tape the inner corner. But if I kind of want to fill that area in and like in between as I'm filling her in, I'll just leave the rest of that taping and I'll put this over. But make sure anytime you're going to lift the eye open, now I've been talking for a minute, so her eyelashes are dry. But if I'm going to do this in the process of application, I'm going to make sure I use my fan and I'm going to dry her eyelashes at least for like a minute for them to be dry before I lift her eye open. Because again, if I lift her eye open and they're not fully dry, she's going to start tearing and watering, and it's going to get in the way of my work, right? And it's going to be uncomfortable for her. So I'm going to make sure it's dry. Then now, instead of asking her to open her eye, I'm gently going to lift the inner corner and I'm just going to tape that little area. Okay. So now that's my focus. And I'm going to combine that with this tape technique. Oh, I forgot. So besides pulling up, we can also pull to the side. So now I see for her, maybe that technique would be better. So I could, and you can do it with trial and error. If pulling it up, you feel like, didn't make that much of a difference, you can try pulling it to the side. Ooh, that made a nice difference for her. So now this is how I'm going to tape it, is more horizontal pull instead of a vertical pull in order to apply those extensions. Okay. So that's kind of few tricks with the taping. And then I would remove this homemade eye patch and I would do the outer corner same way, but instead of pulling it this way, I would pull it the other way. But first, let me fill in these inner corners so you can see how much easier and nicer it is as I could see them. And remember also, the glue in my glue ring now has been there for over 15-20 minutes. I'm gonna clean that, or I'm gonna throw that glue ring and I'm gonna grab a new one and put fresh glue in there. All right, see how much better now I can see that area, and also I could see this one's kind of grown out or tilting, or it wasn't applied too straight. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove that one so I can add more there. And we're gonna use the banana peel technique. Now I could see much better the inner corner, and I'm gonna continue applying. So for inner and outer corners also, you either use all the different taping techniques I showed you, or you ask her to tilt her head from left to right. And I can also adjust my body positioning from left to right in my chair in order to get my hands positioned more comfortably. So now for the inner corner, I'm actually angled kind of this way with my chair. Okay, I'm almost sitting in the corner of the chair. I'm angled this way to be in front of that inner corner. That one's kind of grown out too, so ideally I would remove that, but for time's sakes for the video right now, I'm gonna just leave it. But you see how I would just kind of like remove anything that I come across as I'm applying and as I'm going through the fill process. I wouldn't necessarily only just remove all of it in the beginning. Oh, that one came off anyways. And also the H1 tweezers, the straight tweezers, sometimes depending on the client's eye shape, it's easier to get in the inner corner. So now when I'm kind of trying to get the inner corners and I see the tweezer, this curly part's kind of in my way and I can't see too clearly what I'm doing, that's when I would switch out to the H1 tweezer to see if that's more comfortable for the inner corner. Same with the outer corner, but let's see. Actually, this is the H2 tweezer, not the H1. Yeah, see now when I use these to isolate, that curved part is not in my way, so it'll be easier and I could see better and apply better and cleaner job for that inner corner. And I see she's missing a lot in the inner corner, so most likely from the initial like full set, they didn't probably fully add a lot in the inner corner, and that's very, very common with people. So if you're that lash artist who does add a good amount and takes time to really give them nice inner corners, they're gonna notice a difference and you're gonna stand out that way. But also actually the inner corners sometimes do shed faster and easier compared to the rest, because that's kind of where we touch our eyes the most if we're itching them or they get watery. Continued filling it in, but as I'm done with the inner corner, I would take out this taping so then I can see my mapping again. Like these look like pretty baby lashes, so I'm gonna avoid those actually. So next time she comes in, they'll probably be grown out a little more, then I'll apply more on there. But for now, I'm gonna ignore the very babies, 'cause I don't want to damage them. So now, once I'm done with those inner corners, then I could remove my tape there, and I could remove my tape here. And now I'm gonna prep to do the outer corner. So I'm gonna again, oh, we have to dry first, remember, because we don't want her to tear up. Yes. So now for the outer corner, we're gonna go ahead and do the same technique, but we're gonna pull the tape in the opposite direction. So we want to pull away from the corner in order to separate those outer corner lashes. Technique will really make a difference on some clients where you'll magically see so many more extra lashes in those inner and outer corners. It's insane. If you don't do this technique or tape only the outer and only the inner, you will miss like a good amount of inner and outer lashes, and their overall results are not gonna be as long lasting than you might think you have a retention problem. So make sure you're doing this. You will stand out as a lash artist compared to other people, because not many people take the time to do this. The full tutorial for how to do a fill is on our channel already, so check out the link below if you want to get more information about how to do a fill. Don't forget, we do teach classes via Yegi Academy at yegibeauty.com all over the United States, and online classes are an option too. So check that out if you're interested to get trained and certified by Yegi Beauty.